Alright, doing our special test today. First thing we always do is compare bilaterally. What's the first one?
Tap test.
So a tap test is to test for any kind of fracture. Could be used really anywhere on the foot, but it's mostly going to be used in the tarsal metatarsal area. So if she has pinpoint pain right there and I suspect a fracture, stabilize, 2 fingers, percuss. Positive sign for that, she's going to feel a lot of pain right there because I'm tapping on a broken bone. So, next one.
Distraction.
Also a fracture test, mostly of your toes, but it could also be of the metatarsal heads or metatarsal shaft. I'm going to do stabilize, say she has a fracture of her third. I'm going to go ahead and distract that by pulling on it. I'm going to be spreading that apart. Positive sign is going to be a lot of pain.
What if you twist it?
What if you twist it?
Yeah.
Twist. I mean, distraction, you just pull it, don't you?
Yes, but if you twist it, it becomes what?
Torsion?
A ligamentous test.
Oh. Ligamentous test twisting it. Is there a specific special test on there for it?
You just said if you twist it, ligamentous.
If you twist it, it's a ligamentous test. Next up, we have
Compression of forefoot. Actually, no. Do bump test.
I can do a bump test right now.
Mm-hmm.
So a bump test is for fracture in your crural leg, so either a tibia or a fibula. In class, we sort of discussed that a fibula, you might get a positive sign, but you might not because it's not weight bearing. There's other tests we can use for strictly a fibula if we want to. Well, not strictly a fibula, but you know what I mean. So for a bump test, stabilize, calcaneus, sends a shock wave up the leg. It'll be extremely painful. Should be able to pinpoint where it is from there. Now we're doing the
compression of forefoot.
This test is a fracture of the metatarsal heads. So, oh hey, Josh, the guy who's watching these videos, I'm doing a compression of the forefoot. Would you like to?
I would.
Okay. So,
excuse me, can you please perform percussion of the forefoot?
Compression of the
That's
forefoot.
what I said.
So, compression of the forefoot, we're looking for a fracture at the metatarsal heads, or you could potentially find Morton's neuroma because you're squeezing the nerve bundle that goes right between those heads. So, stabilize and compress. Positive sign is going to be some pain there.
And just remember that it also will get from necks.
Necks, yeah. Heads and necks. But so from here to here, roundabout.
He's like, get out of my video.
And then compression of the base of the fifth is testing for a fracture at the base of the metatarsals. So again, stabilize, palpate for the styloid process at the base of the fifth, squeeze.
Also a fracture test for the shaft of the metatarsal or the styloid process.
For the compression of the base of the fifth.
Mm-hmm.
Tracks.
Neutral position of talus, weight bearing.
All right, so I think with this one, so weight bearing, you have your patient standing up, and is it where you tilt or do you do a spin? Type.
Standing with all weight on one side, on the side that you're testing, and then you rotate.
I thought so. Okay, if I could have a stand page. So, for this, palpating for talar head and talar dome. Say this is the injured side. This more or less we did kind of discuss really isn't much of a pathology test, moreover kind of just a general bony anatomy of the foot, more of an observation of the person themselves, more of a pes planus, pes cavus type situation. So
we're pretty much finding the neutral position of the talus.
That's as the test states. So palpate, Go ahead, put all your weight on this foot. All right, and then go ahead and rotate. Go ahead, stop. Go back to normal. So now you're feeling where the neutral position of their talus is. But as you stated, this can be weight bearing or non-weight bearing. So I personally think this one's a little bit easier because I'm in more control of it. So palpate. So find that talar head right there, talar dome on the other side, and then you just crank the foot into inversion, eversion, pronation, supination.
Dorsiflex until you get resistance, and then dorsiflexion and supinating for resistance.
Oh, I skipped this step, my bad. So, okay.
I have terrible dorsiflexion.
She does. So, okay. And you're dorsiflexing them into almost a neutral position because that's likely when the resistance would start. You're not trying to crank them all the way back. So just at the start of resistance, that makes sense as you are getting them to a neutral position, as you're looking for a neutral position of the talus. So, sorry.
Next is long heel alignment.
Long heel alignment. So Paige is a weenie who wore pants today, so we're gonna jerry rig this test. If your subject is a weenie who wore pants to a special test filming, okay,
Sorry.
loser. Now, she kind of naturally supinates a little bit, so what I'm going to do is kind of just work the heel a little bit, loosen it up, a little bit more of a neutral position. I'm going to take down her calf, stop right about here, right where your plantar fascia is going to insert. And then you'll get a pen. I'll make it a red pen to just make it really colorful and take this piece of tape off after and show you what I'm doing. So,
Tickles.
I'm sure that it does. Wouldn't have been so ticklish if you didn't wear pants. Wearing shorts. You know what I meant. So, from here, we're going to get a goniometer to make our measurement. So you put a dot right in the muscle belly of the gastroc, a dot about midway, one right between the malleolar heads, and one right on the calcaneal tuberosity. I'm going to draw a line between these first two. Then, actually I should probably extend that out a little further. And then, back draw a line, you gotta dorsiflex you. Dorsiflex you a little bit, makes it a little straighter.
What is this one testing for?
This is, we're just looking for pes planus or pes cavus in this position. So once you've drawn your lines, kind of measure, wait, what? What? What?
No.
If I'm doing something wrong, tell me.
It's a hindfoot varus and lungs test.
Which presents itself as? What does that look like if you're standing up?
Pes planus and pes cavis, but we're not weight bearing, so it's just valgus and varus.
9 foot valgus and varus, she's right. So then you measure the degrees between the lines, and I think a positive test is if it's greater than 8, 9 foot varus, but if it's less, what are the measurements there?
I believe it's greater than 2 to 8 degrees.
Then it's a positive for either direction.
For slight varus.
For slight varus.
Yes.
So I have you at about 5 degrees.
So within normal.
Yeah. So just to show you where I drew my dots. Now they are a little bit too spaced out. I will address that when I'm watching this video again later. But we are looking for hindfoot varus and valgus for this test. So what do we got next?
Tibial torsion.
Tibial torsion. Oh goodness. Torsion. Tibial torsion. Ah, yep. Okay. So go ahead and short sit. Table. So for this one, we are looking for exactly what the test states, tibial torsion. How we're doing that is we are going to palpate medial and lateral malleoli. Now this test is easiest performed if you have more than one person. So as in more than one tester. But in order to do this, we're going to line goniometer up between, and then, well, movable arm is going to be between the malleoli. Stable arm is going to be on the femur. Starting position about 10 degrees. So, and then here, you find your malleoli, and then go to middle right there, and then look at your measurement. Only went about 10 degrees, and I believe if it's above, is it within the range of 12 to 18?
Mm-hmm.
So within the range of 12 to 18, that's when you have noticeable tibial torsion. But her measurement was about 10 degrees, so that's a normal measurement. That is a negative test. What's next? We just did tibial torsion.
Oh, no. Side? What did you say?
I have it as too many toes.
No.
Too many toes isn't next.
No. The supple pes planus one is next.
Oh, the Feist line.
Yeah.
Okay. So Feist line, what I'm going to do is have you lie supine, so lay on your back. And then from there, my goodness, I'm sorry. Draw outline between the apex of the medial malleolus and the base of the first. Draw a dot on the navicular tubercle. Oh yeah, I know what this one is. Sorry, we're gonna have to use pen and page. So you put this foot up. No, like post it up, yeah. All right, so apex. I'm sure that does. I'm sorry. Apex of your medial malleolus. We'll go to is the base here first. Check.
Sorry.
No worries. Base of the first. So we're gonna find first metatarsus head. Okay, all the way back. Dot there. Now I'm just doing my dots so I can connect them a lot easier, but you don't actually have to do that. Sorry, I know this is not the most comfortable. And from there,
Don't you need a dot at the navicular?
that's why I'm using red pen.
Oh.
So you then palpate the navicular tubercle. So right there. Right. So you know where that is. Should be right on the line. And now what I'm gonna have Paige do is go ahead and stand weight bearing on that foot. I'm going to palpate for the navicular tubercle again, and then I'm going to draw another dot on it again. And what we should kind of see, or depending on if Paige has supple pes planus, so you can see dot 1, dot 2, and then dot 3. So palpate for the navicular tubercle right here. And you can see that it is a little bit lower in weight bearing. So we went from the dot to a little bit lower. It's not extreme, so we probably wouldn't call this supple pes planus, but it is, you do see the navicular drop a little bit. So that is the Feistline test.
Now it's too many times.
Now too many toes, get back up. Here we have another tibial torsion test. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna get behind your patient. All right, you have them march in place a little bit, and then stop. Now, you're gonna go behind, and what you're looking for is any more than 2.5 toes. So on her left side, right there, I can see a little bit of her third. So it would be a positive on her left side, but on her right, I only see 2 toes. So if you see any more than 2.5 toes, it is a positive test for tibial torsion. So she has a little bit on her left side. But could that, I mess this up every day. That's not your bad side, is it?
Mm-hmm.
So the left side is your bad? Explains.
I have really good e-version of YouTube though.
Yeah. We got it.
Anterior drawer.
Anterior drawer. All right, this is going to be the last test until part 2. So like and subscribe. Hit that follow button.
The neutral test first.
Hit the bell so you get all of my notifications. Neutral test.
Yes.
So anterior drawer neutral. That's just where I have you laying on your back, and then prominence the other one is not. Okay. So go ahead and launch it. So for this, we are looking for ligamentous damage. Now, if we wanted to get fancy, we could tease out specifically the anterior ligaments of the foot. So your anterior tibiotalar and your anterior talofibular. So how to perform this, you stabilize a little bit of a neutral position. Relax a little bit. And you're going to be feeling for an endpoint, like a normal endpoint. So then you just 2 fingers around the calcaneus. Stabilize a little bit lower. Now this is one where you would want to compare bilaterally just to see if there's any differences between 2 feet. Bad ankle. Okay ankle, because I'm sure there's something wrong with it. No? All right, so again, stabilize. 2 fingers around. See, I almost feel like this one's more lax.
I can feel a lot more on this side.
So you can feel like a clunk. So I should have probably kept it consistent using my right hand.
The only thing I would say is your thumb on my talus and your index finger on the finger on my So you have more.
Yeah, I think I could say I feel a difference in this one. I also probably could have done a little bit better of not letting your leg move, really. The other way to do this is actually have your patient lay prone, and it's the exact same test, but honestly I have a little bit better at leverage. So, good side, bad side.
And plantar flexion, what is it testing?
In plantar flexion,
Yes.
oh shoot, I probably should have done that for anterior as well.
Well, it's the same
anterior,
answers for both.
So, when you're plantar flexed, that's testing for your anterior, your ATFs on both sides. Dorsiflex, it's going to be posterior. And then
Or not superior. Supination.
supinated, that's going to be mostly your calcaneofibular and your tibiocalcaneal, but no,
ATF.
I was getting there. Either way. In a more neutral position the best you can, and then quite literally just relax.
Yeah, I can feel a lot more inside.
Yeah. All right. Like for part 2.